Hey guys, welcome back. This is Jack from cruisecasinomafia.com. And you know, the private members of cruisecasinomafia.com are used to me doing these little, what I used to call them as casino and coffee drives. You know, basically me coming home from Panera and talking about some subject that relates directly to money management or casino income generation. Sometimes they're about more of a psychological perspective, what you need or what you need possibly to change to be able to make money instead of going through the same thing over and over again. Other times it's very specific to a specific game or a concept, or a system, or a strategy. Well, I don't even know if I've done any of these. Maybe I probably have, publicly, where I've released them on the YouTube side for everybody to see. But I thought this one would be good to be able to release publicly. So if you're not into this and you don't care and you just like to watch videos of people playing roulette or Baccarat or craps, you can skip this video. It won't hurt my feelings, no big deal, and move on to the next thing. But over the last week and a half, a lot of interesting things have happened on the private side and things that are happening and going forward. And I think some of them are very important for everybody to know, and then you can make your own decisions if you want to get more involved with us and actually join cruisecasinomafia.com, which gives you access to all the strategies, concepts, money management, and everything we're doing going forward. Right now, there's over 400 plus videos and PDFs, but that's not what I'm here to talk about, okay? What I'm here to talk about is a couple of things. It's a couple of concepts and a couple of things that the members of Cruise Casino Mafia, the private members, are going to be introduced to soon. So this video is actually the first time they're going to be hearing me talk about a couple of things as well. So it's good for everybody to kind of listen to this. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's okay. All right, so number one, I probably should do a public video on this. The video that I put out last week privately, I shared with a couple of my other people that we share information with on a regular basis. And some of these people have been around casino gaming income strategy development for years. People like Donny, right? From the Black Chip Video Club. Donny's been around casino gaming for a zillion years. He's done some brilliant things, created some things, and basically developed concepts that really spur other people to kind of look at things in a different light. So he did a video on his channel, and you can go watch it on the Black Chip Video Club. Not the recent one, but the recent one's good too. But it talks about one of the things that I've been preaching forever, which is the biggest problem for people is when they go into the casino, they don't know when to stop. They don't know when to stop. And it's funny because it's such a ridiculously simple concept. So I did a little video last week where it wasn't even about that. It was about a bunch of other updates and things. And at the end of the video, I pointed people to go watch his video that talked about Mickey Maze and talked about Donny's concept, or not concept, but what he preaches a lot, which is +1, or the stop and go, type of process. And what that is very similar to what I tell you guys all the time. You got to have a profit target. You got to know when to stop. But there's a reason that a lot of people that I sent that video to, outside of just members, went crazy about it. And I thought I would share it with you. So Donny's video, and a lot of the stuff I talk about, says that if you're able to make just 1 unit of profit, you made profit. You took money from the casino. But you know and I know that psychologically, most people, if you're playing some level of an even money game, right? Baccarat, even money bets in roulette, and even if it's not an even money bet, right? Even if it's something slightly different, whatever it is, the point is most people can walk into a casino, not even have a strategy or have a clue what they're doing, and get lucky enough on their very first bet. Because when you make your first bet, you're either going to win it or lose it. And if it's on an even money bet, you have about 50% chance of winning, which means if you took that unit, that profitable unit, cashed in and ran out the door, you would have made profit against the casino. Now, you know and I know that 99.9% of the people don't do that. And as I've said on this channel, they sit down with $200 at a blackjack table, they're up 65 bucks. What's the percentage there? Look at the percentage they just made in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is, a half an hour, and they still keep playing, and they give it all back. But if you came to me and knocked on my door and you gave me $200 on a Monday and I said, come back tomorrow the same time, and I gave you 250, 260, guess what you would do every single day? You would come back and give me that $200. And by the way, if you're smart, after a few days of doing that, you would ask me a question. And what would that question be? Can I give you more than $200? Well, that's the trick. That's the trick, right? Is to produce the same one unit or whatever it is, very quick, easy, simple, one unit, and take your profit and run, right? So what I said on the end of that video that a lot of people have really, it was an eye-opener. Donny has then taken that clip of that private video and put it up on his channel. You'll see it at Black Chip Video Club, and made several videos about that concept, which is this. Here was my hypothetical. The hypothetical is this. If that's true, if the majority of people, or some percentage of people, could win on their very first bet that they put out, since it's a 50% chance, right, with Baccarat, okay, and left, what would happen if every single person over a set weekend, Friday to Sunday night, let's say, right, walked into the Venetian, everybody that bet on table games signed a piece of paper, just so that it was psychologically that you were going to do this, that you walked in, and as soon as you made one unit of whatever your base unit is, you cashed out and you left the Venetian. Ask yourself this question. What would the numbers be like for that weekend for the Venetian on all those table games compared to what the normal numbers were on those table games with the way 99.9% of the people play now? What would the numbers look like? Pretty interesting, huh? Pretty interesting. I'm not talking about strategy at the moment. I'm not talking about crazy money management or concepts, conservative, aggressive, martingale, this, that, you know, the Lambert. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you making one unit no matter what you did. You either lost your bankroll or you made one unit. And the minute you made one unit, you left. Do you know what an impact that would be on that weekend's gains for the casino? And how dramatic, considering that 99.9% of the money that goes into the Venetian never comes out. And I'm not picking on the Venetian, by the way. I love the Venetian. I'm just using that as a, you know, as a hypothetical. You can put anything there you want. You could put MGM, you could put Stratosphere, Circus, whatever. Okay, Gold Coast, it doesn't matter. But do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand the power of that? And that original concept that Donny talked about, that +1 stop method, right? That +1, you know, making one unit, only looking to make one unit and repeating it over and over again is such a dramatic difference than sitting there and just constantly moving money back into the casino, okay? So I did not make that comment on a public video. I wanted you guys to have the same impact that everybody else is that was privy to that, that video. So with that being said, let me do a couple of other quick things on this video. Number one, you've heard me say publicly, and I've certainly said it privately to the members, as much as I love Baccarat, right? You've seen a lot of Baccarat videos and little systems and strategies on this channel. I've also been extremely honest with my opinion of why that game right now, the way it's played with the electronic shuffle systems and computers, are a problem, and why some of these really complicated strategies that should do really well only do well in certain casinos and not in other casinos, and they do well for months and then they don't do well. And you say, well, I don't understand that. If it's based on math, if Baccarat is a math game, why does that happen? And we all know the answer. It's because the shuffle master, as Mickey May said in Donny's videos, you know, in a lot of his videos, it's because it's rigged, okay? Rigged, all right? How is it rigged? It's rigged because they're pre-setting the cards inside the shuffle master, basically. That's what we've been told, right? That's our belief. That's our opinion, okay? If you don't believe it, that's perfectly fine. It's just an opinion. But if you do as much testing and stats and analyzing of shoes from Vegas to Biloxi like we do and everywhere else, you'll realize that there's something funny going on. So, does that mean that Baccarat is an unbeatable game? It's a frustrating game, that's for sure. And why is it frustrating? Because the math is so good that we should be able to do better than we do. And you can watch some of Donny's videos that are on his channel to talk about that. If it's a 50-50 game, basically flipping a coin should give us 50% wins and 50% losses without any money management or anything. And the problem is, when you do the details and the stats and the analysis, something's off. Okay. Bottom line is, we know it's off. Is there anything we can do about it, right? That's all that matters. That's all you care about. That's all I care about. Here's the answer. A few months ago, I did 4 or 5 videos. I can't remember how many. They're completely private videos of something that we were working on that was really, really interesting. And we called it the Baccarat bonus block system. And some of the members are frustrated because I stopped doing those videos, and it was so interesting, and we were going down a path that was so amazing with it. And to make a long story short, without going into too much detail, there was a structure in place that you used where you were using the same results that were coming out of the shoe that you were playing in the casino, but the way that we were using the results was basically taking whatever system we were using and then putting a left and a right on it. So there was a system that was being played on the page on the left side and on the right side, if you draw a line down the middle. And by doing this, it essentially randomized the results. Even though we were using the exact results from the casino, it was randomizing the way that the results were being used in the system. And it was a pretty revolutionary concept to be able to get the randomization back into Baccarat, even though we were still forced to use the results that were coming from the casino. Great idea. It still was a great idea, but it was a little bit confusing for people to be able to do it. And I didn't think it was a lot of fun, but it worked. So we stopped dead in our tracks. And a lot of times what happens with me is that a concept is there, but it's not fully formed. And I look at other people's concepts sometimes, and they're not fully formed. And eventually something comes from that. So here's the deal, to make a long video longer. Finally, after months of putting the block system aside, we've been able to come up with something that does the same thing. We've been able to come up with something that allows you to play Baccarat in the casino, but takes other things into account. So number one, it has the randomization that the block system had, meaning that we're using their results, but we're randomizing the way that we're using their results. So there is no algorithm that they can throw at us that forces us to play their game. All right? I'm not going to go into great detail because the video will be 3 hours long. Now, how we're accomplishing that is the difference, is one of the differences. It doesn't have the left and the right, and are certain triggers met that allows us to bet when we're on the left or when we're on the right, and that's where it gets a little confusing with what we created before. Something came to me, and this is a story that I'll tell on the videos for the cipher system. And that's what it's called, Baccarat Cipher. C-I-P-H-E-R. If you don't know what the word means, you can look it up. It's like decoding, right? Like the military, decoding coded messages, a cipher, okay? Baccarat Cipher. So the method that this uses to do the randomization is completely different. And it's fun. I believe in gamifying the existing game. Baccarat is already a game. Roulette is already a game. But I think that when you gamify the actual game, it takes it to a different place. It puts it into our world, our perspective. And then we can do with that data whatever we want to do with it. Okay? I had no idea how to do that other than the way that we used in the block system. And then all of a sudden, I started seeing these clues. And what are the clues? I'll give you an idea. Many people, what, 100 years, 80 years, have played crossword puzzles. They've also played scrambles, you know, where the words are scrambled. And they've also played, and this is the one that kind of popped and finally did it for me, some of those kid games where you have to create boxes and things, right? Where you win by being the guy that finishes the box, things like that. Or in another visual aspect is a word search. So you see on old newspapers and on the internet still, things like that, and when you went to school, you'd see this square. And it had all these letters. And then you had this key with all these words. And you had to find the words inside of the square. And something just kept coming back to me. And then I realized there's some connection here. There's some way of using this concept, and it wouldn't go away. So basically what I've created is almost an inverse cipher. It looks like, imagine visually, it looks like the word search, a square with all those words. But instead of the words, what it has is if we're using it for Baccarat, it has B's and P's, bankers and players. Everything's a B or a P. And now we use this code, this cipher. And that cipher comes along with rules. And the rules for System 1 is how to use the results coming out of the shoe and playing our game with the cipher, the preset cipher with rules. And I can tell you guys that I've completely beaten the algorithm in terms of randomization. Listen to what I'm saying. I've taken their pre-shuffled shoes, and by doing a game with it, by using a game concept, I've been able to take that and randomize how to use the system, a system, so that what I'm doing in betting is no longer part of their algorithm. I'm not playing their game anymore. I'm taking their game and twisting it, putting it through a filter, and now playing my game. Does that mean I win? No. You still have to have a system, a set of rules and money management combined like anything else to be able to make money. That +1 or whatever it is when you're betting, right? But the first step is to not play their game. I don't play their game now when I use the Baccarat cipher. I play my game. And my game now unlocks the things that you've seen on this channel publicly way back. Some of the most watched videos. Remember the pattern videos? Remember those videos, the Holy Grail pattern? Go back to last year. It's one of the biggest videos we put on the channel. Well, the reason that most people that show you patterns and then it fails is because their algorithm, the way they're setting up their shoes, beats your pattern. My pattern. Anybody's pattern. Right? What if I told you that using my cipher, this gamification, that's so easy, by the way. It's so easy. It's a code that's already, it looks like a word search. And then I put the way to play it, I have rules on how to use that cipher. You have to have a decoder, right? If you have a secret message, you have to have something that decodes it. So with the Baccarat cipher, let me tell you what's going to happen. The people that are able to get their hands on the Baccarat cipher, the cipher is the decoder, right? You don't have the system just by having that. That's just the mechanism, right? That's the mechanism. That's not the decoder. The decoder are the rules on how to use it. So this is what's happened. The cipher is the cipher. But we can create systems now because we've randomized the results coming out of the shoe. And now we can test multiple systems, rule bases, right? Rules, sets of rules to determine what works with the data coming in, our use of the word search, so to speak, the cipher, and then create different rules to determine what helps us make our money. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. So the cipher is going to be able to be used with multiple bet strategies or bet selections. Of course, the whole thing can be used with a multitude of different money managements that we provide to our members all the time. We have 4 volumes you know, depending on how conservative or aggressive you want to be. All right? So the bottom line is things take time. Things take time. Not everything magically happens and is perfect. It's revolutionizing, adapting, visualizing. I'm a visual guy. So this concept, this gamification concept, this visualization is something that's been going on with me for a while, but it wasn't all there. Now it's there. So how do you get your hands on the Baccarat cipher? Well, at the moment, the basic version of the Baccarat cipher is going to be introduced to members of cruisecasinomafia.com. The basic version, which you will need. It's kind of like the Xbox. So think of the cipher part of this as the core. The Xbox, the Nintendo, whatever, okay? The Game Boy. And then the systems that we plug into using the cipher is the cartridges, the game cartridges. That's what I've created, basically. Okay? And by the way, if it sounds complicated, it isn't. It's about as simple as it can be. Really, really simple. Because you guys know from what I've shown you on both sides, on the public and the private side, that the things that have worked best in Baccarat over the last couple of years are the simple systems with very conservative money management. That's a fact. Anybody tells you differently, they're full of it. Complicated stuff, it doesn't work. And why doesn't it work? Because of the shuffle master stuff. Because of the rigged game that they're forcing you to play. So I'm not saying the strategies are no good. They're no good because of what they're doing, not because of the creator. All right. So if you join cruisecasinomafia.com, you can use a code MAFIA and the number 50. You'll get access to everything that we have and everything we're doing, including the core system for the Baccarat cipher stuff that's coming in the next week or so. Okay. If you're not a member of cruisecasinomafia.com, I want to open the door. So I'm going to have to figure it out. I don't know yet. So if you don't join cruisecasinomafia.com and use that Mafia 50 as a code, get $50 off, join, get everything, whatever, and you still want cipher, I think I'm going to figure out a way this time for other people to have it. Okay? I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'll do a quick video letting people know when it's available and how that's going to work. Your best bet is to obviously just join cruisecasinomafia.com, get the $50 off on the coupon, come in. You're getting all of our private systems and everything else. The value is insane. People are charging $1,000 for a holy grail system for one thing. Okay, we have over 400 systems, and let me tell you, if you can't find the systems that are right for you, roulette, baccarat, or craps, in our 400, then it has nothing to do with us. It has to do with your mindset. Because there are many, many systems that people have learned from us, and they just keep playing that same system or two systems or three systems over and over again. Okay? And there's so many. You will find the one that works for you. All right? So that's it. I know this is a long video. Think of it like a podcast. Instead of doing podcasts, this is what I do because it's easier for me. So think about that +1. Go watch some of Donnie's videos over there that talk about the concept of what happens if you just make one video at Black Chip Video Club. And remember, the key to winning is to treat this like a business the same way as Wall Street. People that make money on Wall Street do not trade and trade and trade and let trades go on forever. They take their profits and they pull. They take their profits and they pull. Small losses never affect them. But 99% of the people that do options trading in crypto and Forex and everything else, their losses do what? They keep going and going and going and going, and they crash and burn. This is not rocket science, people. You got to learn money management. We teach money management. We teach people how to make money, not how to play roulette and Baccarat. You teach people how to make profits and continually and long-term make profits. Does that mean you make money every 5 minutes? No. You got to balance the wins and the losses, and that's money management. But now, with the Baccarat cipher, we're back in the game again. We've adapted to what they've thrown at us, right? If you're playing football and an offensive genius, like the coach for the Rams, right, throws some new wrinkle at you on offense, you got to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to play defense against it. It's taken us a while. But I can tell you, it ain't going to work anymore. They're shuffle master BS because they can spit out the data. But the way that we use that data is the key. Don't play their game, play your game. And that's what we're doing with Baccarat Cypher. And we have already tested the cipher method with roulette. And there's going to be a Baccarat cipher or roulette cipher, the same concept for roulette. So stick around. Things are getting really interesting again. CruiseCasinoMafia.com. Use the code MAFIA and the number 50. We'll see you on the inside. Bye-bye.